Hello, Bucks.
Hello,
Good
Ryan.
evening. How
Good
are you
evening.
today?
Well, it's the same as any other day. I've left my place for about 8 minutes today. Went to Publix, braved the crowds yet again. Actually, the crowds weren't so bad, but there's nothing on the shelves. This is mass hysteria here. How are you feeling in California?
I feel good. I mean, I also work from home most of the time, so it's not all that different for me, besides the fact that my wife is also working from home, which is a little bit weird for me to share a workspace in a way.
Yeah. You have your office there full of fine Hooters, calendars, and the assorted accoutrement that you need.
Oh yeah, I sure do. I got let's see, can you see? It's a little weird. I got the Hooters on the wall back there. It's like it's a Hooters montage in the little office nook.
We got our first question here from a guy, Dried Ocean. How happy are you with Tommy Brady? Let's not let the elephant in the room muster anymore.
Well, as you can see, I have my Tampa Bay Buccaneers disgustingly ugly Super Bowl hat on.
From San Diego, it is the worst Super Bowl hat of all time. You need to model that thing a little bit. Look at the side of it.
Look at look at this thing. It's hideous.
2002 was a weird time, man.
Yeah, this is a very weird hat. I'm very excited / nervous. I'm wondering why the Bucks haven't made an announcement yet. Why is this not official? Doesn't feel great, Buck.
Wait, so you think it's not official?
I don't know. It's just weird to me that the Bucks haven't made an announcement, and neither has Brady. So is it real?
I'd say at this point it's pretty real. Yeah,
I agree. It's pretty real.
What else is real is on the right side of the bill. Why did they choose to have another flush of blue and yellow on the other side?
Okay.
Like, why? Who made that conscious decision on that hat that said that is how we're moving forward with the hat business?
I mean, I don't know. It's got to be the ugliest hat ever made in Super Bowl history.
Like, did Ernest from Ernest Goes to Camp design that hat right there?
He probably did, Buck. He probably did.
What a terrible hat. I have the same one, by the way. I
love
that thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This was actually my dad's hat when I was cleaning out his stuff after he passed away. R.I.P. I saw this hat, still had the tags on it. I was like, oh my God, I need that. I mean, I took it out of his closet naturally. Who else was going to
look at that thing?
Look at it. It's just beautiful.
Larry living on. R.I.P. Great man.
Yes. He would be excited to hear that Tom Brady is a freaking Buccaneer, apparently.
I think he's a Buccaneer. I think right now, Brady at this point is probably exercising his GMsmanship with Jason Light, kind of trying to figure out good things. But the Bucks made all the right moves, right? The Bucks bring in Dried Ocean. I see your comment there. They have blue and yellow. Back in the early 2000s, when they made Super Bowl champions hats, it was based on the city it was played in. And if you look closely, like lean in a little bit, Levy, if you look closely at it, it's just like they just put a felt little smack of the Buccaneers logo on it. They had that design based on San Diego. And that's what they did back in those days. I remember vividly when the Packers won it, I believe it was 96, that they had the New Orleans style, like it was like Mardi Gras style hat. I mean, we were making some really shitty hats in the 90s and early 2000s. We figured out the hat situation pretty well in 2020. I got to give us credit because we haven't figured anything else out. We have nothing.
Right. Yeah, and there's no chance that I would ever wear this hat in public. So
yeah, you probably should think about it before you go outdoors. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going outdoors anytime soon, so I'm gonna break this bad boy in finally. But I think what I'm most excited about, Bucky, with the Brady news, again, I'm like excited. We're getting a winner. I am nervous at the same time. I hope we have a long-term contingency plan. I hope we draft a young quarterback because surely Blaine Gabbert is not the future after Tommy decides to actually hang him up. But what I'm
got problems with the slinging Missouri?
Yeah,
that's no his nickname, the slinging Missouri.
He's okay. He's a good backup. Good backup, just like Jameis is going to be. Right?
But they did. Oh my goodness, does it look like that now more than ever?
I mean, it's wild. We go from Jameis's camp saying he wanted 30+ million a year to now we're looking at him potentially being a backup because the Chargers have already said they're going with Tyrod Taylor, apparently, which is kind of crazy. What are the openings? There's not a ton. I mean, are the Patriots really going to sign him? I don't think so.
I think what's killing him is the fact that he has over 130 turnovers in 5 years of playing football.
Yeah, absolutely.
But 78 games, I read 78 games, 132 turnovers, I believe is the number.
It's unbelievable.
Putrid. And the run he had of opening he had 4 games that he opened with a first pass interception this past season.
Yeah, I think it might have been 5. I'm not even sure the exact number. It was unbelievable, though. It was like a joke.
Yeah, the streak was comparable to Miracle on Ice 1980.
Very true.
Yeah, it was a 5-game run.
Before we talk more Jameis, though, I think what I'm most excited about as a Bucs fan in Brady, assuming we don't get screwed here. Again, as a Bucs fan, I just expect putridity. I expect the worst to happen. So I'm still not fully confident. But
no, he's coming to the Bucs. And I believe that I said it on our last live show. I think Brady to the Bucs is a good thing.
Yes.
They have the weapons. It's a matter of utilizing the weapons. Now, what it really boils down to for me is they need to find value in a backup quarterback, a young quarterback in the 3rd round.
Yes.
Like they have to invest in the offensive line the 1st and 2nd round. They have to.
Agreed 100%.
If the Bucs don't do that, and I guarantee you that might be the only holdup, is like a guarantee, get me 2 guys, right? Get me 2 guys, protect my 43-year-old ass because, I can't be getting hit. I'm getting hit. We got a problem. He gets rid of the ball so quickly, it kind of mitigates it to a certain extent. But if you want to talk long-term growth, like Brady has another 2 years under him. I know I've said in previous pods, I only think he has 1 more year. I think he has 2 more years in him. So if he's a stopgap, at least plan for the future to protect that young quarterback, because part of Jameis's problem, and this is not an insult, I love Jameis. You heard me defend Jameis. I wanted the Bucs to keep Jameis because I do think that there's a player in there, a hell of a player. However, Jameis's main problem is it took him too long to make decisions. And then he would make so many poor decisions when he had pressure that it just became this constant struggle to figure out what he was supposed to do in that moment. And Brady is not going to suffer from the same problem. They're going to tailor it around him. Arians will make sure it's in place. You have a short stopgap option. And look, Godwin, did you hear the rumors here with Godwin being traded? Godwin and a first for Gurley and Brandon Cooks. Get out of here. I know Brandon Cooks is young, but he spent as much time on the IR as I have in the IR.
Yeah, I don't like that move, obviously, at all. I'm a big Godwin believer. I'd rather just, there's obviously the rumors of Antonio Brown coming to Tampa Bay as well, and Melvin Gordon's already been linked there. I think that's what I'm most excited about, this whole situation. I just want to see who follows Brady. People will come to Tampa Bay to play for less money to play with the GOAT. That's the thing here.
Yeah, linemen. Like, if we're not drafting it, we need to go through the free agent route because, in my opinion, the Buccaneers have 2 quality offensive linemen, and that's 3 short of a full 5 set there. No offense, though. I don't like to criticize players, so I won't call them by name.
I agree. Do you, real quick on Antonio Brown, would you like to see that? That's a lot of drama.
No. The guy, no. I live in Tampa, so I don't want him here. No.
I think it's going to happen, man.
No.
Who knows how long he's going to get suspended for and all that, because I think it's evident that's coming, and he obviously needs to get himself some help. But, there's no denying the talent. Can you imagine if you moved Godwin to the slot and had AB outside the other side of Evans?
No.
With the tight end talent?
I'm good. I'm good on that one, pal.
You may be good, but it may be happening, Buck.
I'm good.
I think there's some other interesting slot options out there, like Emmanuel Sanders. Robbie A. Who knows?
Oh, dude, give me Bob A.
Give me Bob A. We need an all hair guy on there.
Fredley, always a pleasure, my man.
Yes, thanks for joining us, man. Happy to
Jordan
have you
Buck
on.
Nation, you don't want this curse. All right, but you accept it. Now it's yours.
Does Howard's value go up in fantasy?
Oh yeah, exponentially.
I think we probably keep Cam Braid as well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Brady likes the 2 tight ends.
Loves it.
I'm excited about that. I mean, top 15 Dried Ocean.
Yes.
I think the potential's there, absolutely, especially with Brady under center.
I'd argue top 10.
I like that. The talent, he's definitely a top 10 talent, no doubt about it.
Rivers, is he the answer in Indy from Will Jenkins? No. I'm honestly perplexed by this situation. I thought Jacoby Brissett was pretty good.
I'm a little confused too. That's a lot of money to pay an aging Phil Rivers. This obviously doesn't make them a Super Bowl team by any means, but they've got a decent defense. They've got a good line, got decent weapons on offense around him too. So I think they can make the playoffs in this division, especially with old Bill O'Brien shipping off players.
Good old Billy B, man. Billy O.B.
Yeah.
Rivers just doesn't move the needle for me. And not in Indy, you know? I really thought the Bucks were going to take Rivers at a bit of a pay cut over Brady. I'm glad that they're going all in with Brady. It's sweet to have the GOAT here in the Bay. You know, he's really going to be up in my real estate market prices, so that's not so great. But, you know, judging by what's going on in society, that's probably going down as well. Anyways, no, Rivers to me is not the answer. I would have wrote it out with Jacoby Brissett personally. I think he's a fine quarterback, and he just needs a little bit more time.
Yeah, maybe the Bucks will go get him as our backup now. We'll see.
I would love for him to find his way to the Bills.
Okay. I like that. I don't know if you saw this today because I know you were busy at work, but I saw Michael Irvin bring something up interesting regarding the Texans and Nuke Hopkins. Basically, Nuke told him, this is directly from Nuke to Michael Irvin, the reason he was traded because Bill had felt like he had too much control over the locker room. And it got a little dirtier and deeper than this, too. He went on to say he didn't like his baby mamas around and this and that. It was a very awkward thing that I witnessed on, I don't know if it was NFL Network or ESPN.
Yeah, it would have been NFL Network, I think.
Yeah, NFL Network this morning. It was awkward, man. It was interesting to see. So I don't know what direction this team is going, but the reason I'm talking about that is because I feel like Indy could actually win this division. Am I crazy for thinking that?
Not at all. Not at all. The answer is a hard thing to really give you, Will, because it as good as that defense can be, I also think that their offense is lacking in a lot of areas. Obviously, the offensive line is good, but I mean the explosive playmakers. If Paris Campbell stays healthy and builds off, you know, his small sample size of games this past year, which I think he will, yeah, they'll compete, but I don't see them winning a Super Bowl anytime soon. So the answer for me means Super Bowl. And no, I do not think Phil Rivers equals Super Bowl for Indy.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself there, Bucky. I guess it depends what the answer is. The answer for a short-term stopgap, I guess, but for what? I don't know. I'd rather have Jacoby Brissett than Phil Rivers probably at this point.
I like Jacoby Brissett. I think he's a fine quarterback, and he's a resilient dude. A little bit of dual threat, not much, but he's like a modern day Dante Culpepper.
I like that one.
MathQuest. Do you remember Dante Culpepper? I love that dude.
Of course. He could sling it.
NFL 2K. Play with the Vikings. You got Culpepper chucking it to the mouse.
If I remember, yeah, because I played a lot at 2K back in the day. I believe it was number 11, if I'm remembering correctly.
I don't know the number.
Fact check me over there while I say what's up to MathQuest. How are you? It's been a while. Could Mariota take Carr's starting position?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. I also heard a little rumbling today, and I think this would be an interesting situation. if Carr were to be traded, would Jameis potentially end up in Las Vegas? And wouldn't it be wild if it was Jameis and Mariota competing for the job?
I would love that. Samantha.
What up, guys? Sorry. Even in a pandemic, LA has traffic. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
There are certain inevitabilities in life, right?
Yeah. Traffic in LA is one of them that you cannot avoid. So I did grab a glass of wine. So cheers to you guys.
Oh,
cheers.
Yes. So I hear we're talking about Jameis and Mariota.
I was just saying it would be wild.
First question. Yeah. I mean, you went like 12 steps deep into the Pythagorean theorem right there. Like,
just jumped right in.
I'm not ready for that. And it's only appropriate with MathQuest and his name and his avatar for you to go to the Pythagorean theorem. But yeah, do you think, Sam, that Mariota could challenge Carr for the starting quarterback position there?
I mean, if you asked me this question, I think even last month I would have been like, absolutely not. That's Derek Carr's job. But with the way that free agency is panning out for so many teams, I think anything is possible. I think that's really sad because I feel like Carr still has a lot to offer. But they might just be trying to do something different there and see if it works, or maybe just having the competition there for Carr is something that he needs. I love the guy, though. I feel like of people in the NFL, I feel like he's like the nice guy. Like if you had to rank top like 5 nice guys, I feel like Derek Carr is like 1 or 2.
I don't know. He's got like the eyeliner.
He's a Raider.
Is that like a key indicator of good guys? Should I start wearing eyeliner to
maybe that puts him at 2? Maybe that puts him at 2.
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to dog the guy for the eyeliner. I'm just saying, like, if I wore, this is a personal question now, if I wore eyeliner, would I signal to the ladies, hey, good guy? Because I already have the dogs on my side. Like, all dogs love me. Even dogs that hate dudes love me. Aww. That's what I've learned. That's the only trick I have in the deck.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I think that the eyeliner, just stylistically, if it works on you, it works. So maybe it works on him. I don't know that I can see it working with you. I don't know that it fits the eye shape that you have. Maybe it just lends itself well to him and Jared Leto.
I might need to fly to LA once all this blows over and just get a makeover via Sam.
Yes.
Do a live show in her closet there.
Yeah. We'll both definitely fit in this closet. Goodness. No, hopefully by then I've built out my full-on major studio that I want to do in the house. Because, when something's something you enjoy, you turn half your house into a recording studio, which is going to be the next thing.
Awesome.
Sam, I saw that on your Instagram. I saw you getting to work on that with the soundproof walls and stuff.
Dude,
I'm jealous. I need that.
It's going to get good. I can't wait. Although I did know and realize square footage and math is not something that's my strong suit. So I definitely need to buy more of that foam insulation.
Just hit up MathQuest. He'll take care of you.
Oh, yeah. Help me.
Fredley, I'm with you, man. I don't think the Bucs should mess with the wide receivers by any means, but it certainly can't help to add a third guy in there. I would love for us to re-sign Rashad Perryman, honestly.
I think having a third wide receiver as an option for someone like Brady is really helpful because, as we've known for years, just in the system that he's been in, he can have a multitude of weapons and continue to be successful. Now, it can be frustrating for fantasy owners when you don't know who's going to be the guy each week, and I wonder if that's going to be even more the case in Tampa Bay. But I don't see having a third weapon as hurting anyone else's value, just because the difference between Brady and Winston is obviously, 1, accuracy, and 2, volume. So you're going to get better accuracy with Brady, but you're not going to have the amount of volume you would have had with Winston.
I say they bring in Danny Amendola. Let's do it right now.
Let's go.
Yeah. 35 years old, looking real spry.
Real spry.
I love it. I'm all on board with that, Bucky. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see who else comes down with Brady. Come on down to Tampa Bay. We'd love to have you. Victor, what's up, man? Yeah, it took you about 3 days to pick in our Dynasty slow draft, so thanks for stalling it while we're all sitting at home. Appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well up there in Canada.
Hey, no, I'm bored too. I was actually, this is a funny story. So I am so bored that I checked my mail today and I got a letter from the U.S. Census Bureau. So
Did you fill that out?
I was selected as an official census member. I am a voice of America. I'm a voice of reason. And I am looking forward to doing the survey here tomorrow. I got big plans for tomorrow morning doing the U.S. Census.
I know. That's
Just
exciting.
doing my part, citizen.
You know
We're
what?
all
People need
citizens,
that.
folks.
Yeah. People need to, I feel like you are the voice of the people. We learned that in the podcast over the weekend where we learned about ham steak and the magic that is.
There's magic in them steaks, Sam.
Just got to be the voice of the people for us, Bucks. That's what we need.
What's your normal diet? Ham steak. No veggies? Hell no.
Bucky, this one's for you, man. Do we book the Bills as AFC East champs already, or do we think the Pats could still take it?
No. Come on. Let's be honest. The Bills are in the Super Bowl, pal. I mean, Dry Ocean, that's the best question I've ever seen. You book it, yes. Get your reservations here in Tampa. Dry Ocean, I won't open my doors to you because you're an internet stranger, but I love you and I respect you.
Come on. We've got the best viewers and listeners. You wouldn't open your home for them?
The Super Bowl is here in my hometown. The stadium is but 4 minutes away from where I am right now. I'm ready to rock. So you come on down when the Bills take the Super Bowl, and we can finally wash away tears that are 26 years old. 27 at this point. Jesus. That'll be a happy day. That'll be a happy day. Yeah.
Is Jarrett Stidham really the answer, though, in New England? I mean, if he's not, if they go and make a big move, I don't know. The Pats, you can never count out the Pats. This is going to be interesting this year. I'm really excited. Hopefully we have football.
No, but they've always been bargain shoppers. And they're a team that does deep dives into, players that no one else is looking at. So I feel like it would be more in character for them to continue and say, yes, Stidham's our guy, and then surprise everyone by pulling someone that we're not expecting at the draft and then being like, nope, he's our guy. But I just feel like it makes much more sense for them right now to pull someone off free agency just to have that backing behind their team. Or maybe Belichick is just like, screw it. This year is just not going to be our year, and he's fine with rebuilding, and he just does, goes and creates a bunch of dust and doing a full-on rebuild. Yep,
that's it. Sam, I think you just hit it. I think that the evil genius Bill right now is like praying for 0-16.
Yes. He's like, just give me more draft picks.
Tank for Trevor. It's tanking for Trevor.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, I don't know if I could see the Pats actually full-blown tanking. That would be wild, though.
Tank for Trevor,
watch, they'll trade Julian Edelman to the Bucks, and then that'll be your crazy wide receiver 3, and they're going to go full tank.
If we got Jules here, now Jules, I'll open the doors for. I got a good couch. You'll be fine, Jules.
You wouldn't let him sleep in your bed? Julian Edelman is a handsome man.
No, I sleep in my own bed, and I don't sleep with another gentleman. You can have the couch.
But he's pretty.
I'm not going to disagree. He is quite stunning.
He is. Will, what's up, dude? We haven't talked about Cam Newton yet. I'm very interested to see where Cam Newton goes. Chargers would make sense, but they've pretty much said that they're going with Tyrod. So I don't know if I see it. Maybe they bring him in to compete with Tyrod. I think Cam's got plenty left in the tank, assuming he's healthy.
I don't.
No? I don't think he has enough left in the tank, but I think if they're sticking to their guns and they're going to go Tyrod, then they're going to try and take Tua, and they're just going to let him learn behind him for 6 games, and then Tua will get the start.
I don't think they have a shot at Tua. What's their first round pick?
I think they have 3 or 4.
I thought it was 6 for the.
Yeah, I think 6 is a little too late.
6 might be too late for Tua, but I think that they could definitely get another rookie quarterback from this draft. There's a couple good ones.
Oh no, for sure. I think Cam at this point is more about outfits than he is about output on the field.
Yeah. So if anything, he's going to be a ball manager, and he would be someone that they could get. Patriots could get at a good price at this point, just because of all of Cam's attitude problems and issues. It kind of brings down his value. It's going to bring less people to the table.
I don't want to say, like, my disparaging remarks about Cam, honestly, are purely from on the field. Like, I would not enjoy having a beer with Cam. I know he wouldn't enjoy having a beer with me, so I'm allowed to say those things. Most people don't, to be honest with you. That's why this quarantine is not so different from everyday life.
Oh,
but the thing here is I just don't see Cam being a productive quarterback in the league. I just don't. I think he makes things a little bit too complicated with everything is laborious for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it takes him a long time to get rid of the ball. It just does.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Jameis to a certain extent. Jameis just has a hell of a lot more of a gunslinger mentality than Cam Newton does. But everything just takes a little bit too long with Cam. And now that he's not the force that he was 5 years ago, running through people and having to mind his P's and Q's in regards to protecting his body, that's where I stand with him, is that I just don't think he's a good quarterback, being a drop back quarterback. So I think Cam Newton is unfortunately kind of played himself out of a role as a starting QB in the league. He will be a starting QB, but it's coming sooner rather than later where he's a backup.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that.
Will he though? I don't know. I mean, we're running out of spots here, guys.
I know these spots are filling up. It was like, what can happen at the beginning of Sunday? We were, just waiting to see, and then just missiles firing back and forth. My phone won't stop, and I keep freaking out. My coworkers are mad at me because anytime I get an ESPN notification, I say, "Oh my God!" And then they're like, "What happened with coronavirus?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's football news. It's football news." They keep thinking that something crazy has happened in the world, and it's like, no, it's football.
Can I say this? That the evil genius move that Roger Goodell has pulled, giving us free agency right now. Oh boy, we don't even know if we're playing football in September, but we're sitting here getting all giddy about Stephon Diggs being a Bill and trading away half of Noah's Ark to get it.
Love it.
He's just such. Look, you can dog the dude. I wouldn't have a beer with Roger.
No, I wouldn't poison his beer.
Unless you want to give me like a very high paying job. We're talking like mid 6 figs. Like I'd have a beer with them then. But if we're not talking mid 6 figs, which I know for certain based on his stringent guidelines, it's probably not in the realm of reality. I'm just saying, Roger, you're an evil genius, and I thank you for giving us this conjecture to at least talk about.
I know, right? It's a nice escape right now. There's obviously a lot crazy going on in the world, and it's been nice to turn the news off and turn on NFL Network or ESPN, whatever you want, whatever your poison is.
I don't watch the news, and I can't stop watching the news. I'm a crack addict with the news right now.
Same.
No. And it's been really rough. Actually, today was the first day in my office because we have a TV going in the design room. It was the first day we didn't have CNN or something going on, and instead I put on a looping video of kittens playing. We were all in such a good mood the whole day. It was beautiful. It was like the sun was shining. Rainbows were also outside. Everyone was happy. And it's like, because we weren't watching the news. We were just watching kittens play.
I'm a little concerned that you're actually still working in an office, Sam.
Yeah, they sent a lot of people home. So there's a lot fewer. We're like under 10 people now, like in the office. So it's good. I'm safe. Don't worry, guys. I'm not licking doorknobs. We're okay.
Did you guys like draw straws, or how did this work?
No, my team is just very essential to operations. So it's fine.
The word is paramount. Sam, your role is paramount.
My role is paramount. Yes. So, I mean, eventually we will be working from home, but we're still working on all that stuff to get it so that we do move that way. But yeah. No, whatever makes the day go by better is a video of kittens playing. So
if we're still looking for backup QBs, I think there's one name that's really gone under the radar, and that's Charlie Batch. Like you bring back Charlie Batch, all answers are right there in front of you. This, in times of peril, in times of unknown uncertainties, rely on Batch.
Bring back Batch.
Yeah, bring back Batch, run a batch, do whatever you need to do. But we need to get Charlie
batches on batches. Batches on batches.
Exactly.
Batches all day, Bucky. I love it.
God, I love Charlie Batch, man.
Charlie Batch is a great player.
He was awesome. He would come in and just run shit, and then he would be relegated to the backup immediately upon a starter getting healthy again.
Of course.
Sam, you know.
Yeah, it's just.
What were your feelings on Chuck Batch with his time in Pittsburgh?
I mean, I think I've heard you use the term fluffer multiple times about players before, Bucky.
Yeah, I like the fluffer. Yeah,
I think that's an appropriate term for Batch, for old Batch.
Yeah, he was a hell of a fluffer.
Oh, Bucks. Speaking of, I forgot to mention, Sam. I don't know if you saw this today, but we were talking about the comments that Nuke Hopkins made to Michael Irvin regarding what Bill O'Brien said to him. He also said, Bucky, this is the part I forgot to tell you. Thank you, Dried Ocean, for reminding me. He brought up Aaron Hernandez, too. He said he hadn't had to have a meeting like this with a player since Aaron Hernandez.
Bill O'Brien said that?
Said that about Hopkins?
Said that to Nuke, and Nuke said it directly to Michael Irvin. So, I mean, I heard it out of Michael Irvin's mouth myself this morning. So, to me, that's a pretty reliable thing. Of course, this is only one side of the story. Who knows what Bill O'Brien would say, but it's just a weird situation down there in Houston, man. Tell you what.
It doesn't give much confidence.
If Bill O'Brien legitimately brought up a murderer and compared him to Nuke Hopkins in a one-on-one meeting, that's grounds for dismissal if that's real.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think we're going to hear more on that as the
good God.
Days.
No wonder it's a sinking ship.
That's not good.
Yeah, sinking ship for sure.
Yeah, they beat the Bills, though. They beat the Bills. Sons of bitch.
So you can't say much. But, hey, to me, as a Steelers fan that just acquired another Watt brother, if the ship's not good in Texas, hey, bring the family together. Let's get JJ on the team, too. We'll take that.
That'll be awesome.
It'll be so good. I called my dad, and I was like, we're going to collect the whole set.
That would be sweet. I mean, that Steelers defense is legit.
We got all the Funko Pops.
We got them. Be so excited.
Hey, we didn't even talk about the trade yet that happened today. This is kind of big news. I assumed Cam was going to go to the Bears after the Bridgewater debacle, but Foles, Big Dick Nick, has a new location, a new city, Chi-Town 312, to the Bears. Thoughts?
I want to first just start with the Sears Tower had its run as the tallest building in Chicago that now belongs to Nick Foles' hog. So I just want to say, welcome and congratulations on setting records for structure height.
Oh yeah.
Structure height.
I love it, Buck. Is he gonna win? Is he gonna win this job over Trubisky though? I mean, I'm not a Trubisky believer, so
yes. Yeah. How many Bears games did you watch last year? Yes. Nick Foles wins this little contest, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I think it's just a scrimmage to make Trubisky feel bad. So yeah, he's absolutely going to win the job. I mean, I posted it on Twitter today, but I said, Foles went to the Bears. I guess that happened. That's a thing. I mean, I'm kind of meh. I don't feel like it helps, hurts. It kind of is just middle. Hopefully it helps. I don't see it being a huge help. It's not super exciting to me, but I mean, it's not going to hurt them really bad.
No, not at all. I like the Nick. I like Nick Foles as a player, to be quite frank.
I think the biggest thing it hurts is Mitchell Trubisky's feelings.
Yes, Sam. Yes, it does.
I think you're right, Sam. This is a time that we need to be concerned with each other's feelings.
We need to be here for each other. In all seriousness, we do. But someone needs to air hug Mitchell Trubisky because you can't actually hug him.
Me, Sam. I live in the world of irony and satire. Like that is my entire brand as a human.
Yeah, you live there.
What I've realized is that there are time sport and there are definitely not time sport. And this is 100% a time for it. I'm coming in strong.
This is your time.
Yeah.
I love it.
So they'll be flying the Bears flag off his hog here in no time.
All right, moving on. Freddie wants to know what the with TB12 and TB, what's the missing piece for the Bucs? For me, it's still the offensive line and then a decent running back. I mean, Rojo showed improvement last year, but
Barber too, man.
I know, but I don't think that's the answer, either of them, honestly.
No, I think they need a stronger back to help with that running game. Again, because Brady works best when he's got multiple weapons. And I think that Rojo had a lot of sparks. We could see him kind of unleashed a little bit this year because Brady has that ability to open up backs in that way. But I am really worried about that O-line. I do not see Brady staying through the year healthy. Like he needs some support there.
Oh yeah, of course.
But he gets rid of the ball in like less than 2 seconds. So
that is the positive thing. But you got to get a couple guys, just one on either side, just a couple.
Here's the thing. I think, Jameis did quite a poor job of at least making a mirage that his offensive line was at least like apt to do a good job because he took so long to make his decisions.
Okay.
And honestly, while I look at O-line as the number one concern, I think they will invest a first and second round draft pick in quality offensive linemen because I think the Bucs have 2 things really going in their favor. Number one, defensive line. They bolstered it. They've re-signed who they need to re-sign.
Oh yeah.
They have one of the best linebacking corps in the NFL.
Sure.
So that's settled. The secondary at this point, the young guys had a run at it last year. And to be honest, as the season progressed, the secondary play got better. So
Sure.
I don't feel like they have too many holes when it comes to we need a plug and play starter defensively. Obviously, they will shore up the secondary. I think that'll come later in the draft. But I think part of why we haven't had an official Brady, hanging out with me, hand over shoulder picture moment here in the Bay is because I think Brady's like, you need to draft 2 offensive linemen, 1 and 2.
Which is what I was about to say. I feel like in order to secure someone like Brady, it's securing a LeBron. And what does LeBron do? He partially coaches the team. He partially picks his players.
Partially.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice about it.
Look, I'm in the boardrooms with LeBron. Sam, newsflash. Yeah, it's LeBron. Like,
okay.
You might as well call them the LA LeBrons.
The LA LeBrons. Yeah. Well, I love my Lakers, and I'm going to continue to love my Lakers and my Anthony Davis. But we'll get to that later.
Best uniforms in sport. I'll go on record. I'll go down saying the Lakers have the most badass uniforms.
They do.
I appreciate that. But
they're
okay,
so classy. If I wasn't just like a really out of shape white dude, I would totally be wearing like a Lakers jersey all the time.
I thought you were doing the TB12 diet.
Yeah, no, the TB12 has been postponed due to quarantine.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. I get that. All right. Well, let me rewind my statement then and say, if you're going to sign someone like Brady, you won't know that he is going to be picking the players for your team. I'll just say it like that.
Yeah. That's part of it.
100% he's going to be. He's going to be picking the players for the team, and so in order to secure him, they have to draft that offensive line. Oh God.
Yes.
God, it's a party now.
What's up, everybody?
Why you gotta show us all up dressed in a suit, crying out loud?
Oh, this is great.
We're live, baby. We got to go live, and we got to give the people what they want. Got to give them some updates.
You having trouble buttoning that button there, Tater?
Huh?
You having trouble buttoning that button?
Yeah, a little bit. It's getting a little.
The quarantine is getting a Tater up there in northern Michigan. He's been eating a little bit too much.
Eating their veggies and a little bit less Doritos.
Fat guy, a little coat. Yeah.
How many Jack's pizzas have you slammed this week?
Actually, 2 for 2 the last 2 days.
Wow.
Now, it really pisses me off when Kelly decides to actually, because I always anticipate that I'm going to eat the entire thing to myself, but then she'll be like, well, can I have a piece? And I just give her this like blank stare, like, God.
She's your damn fiance. You give her slices of pizza.
I do, reluctantly, though. So what are we talking about? We got a lot of stuff to talk about, don't we?
You just interrupted me talking about Brady and how he's coaching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now.
They've probably given him like full personnel control. That was part of bringing Brady on board.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. How they're giving the full reins to him so that the first picks in the draft are offensive linemen to protect his ass.
there's a lot of smoke. I believe that some of these smoke screens about Todd Gurley potentially coming to Tampa Bay, I think that there's some validity to it. Maybe they're trying to drive the price down on someone like Melvin Gordon, but the rumor mill is starting to heat up a little bit when it comes to potentially Todd Gurley and even someone like Brandon Cooks coming along with them. Because obviously Cookie and Tommy Boy have a little bit of a history, and then
just a tad.
He had a good year. He had a good year.
Yeah.
Levy, you don't look like you like it though.
No, especially because everything I was reading about that rumor had Godwin involved. There's no way in hell that we can trade Chris Godwin to get back.
No, but that would be a really great option for Jared Goff.
Oh, no, I mean, I like Gurley as a player. I would just much rather, if we're going to take on that type of salary in a trade, give me Melvin Gordon all day.
All day. I mean, that would be a really tasty pick. And again, if Brady is the one that's going to be picking the players, he's going to make some smart picks. And I think that the real way to figure out who's going to be going to Tampa Bay is to see who Tom Brady has recently followed on Instagram.
Ooh, that's a conspiracy theory. That's some tinfoil type shit there.
Or who Giselle recently followed because she knows she's going to be hanging out with that family.
That's right. You got to check. You got to get on the wags, the wives and girlfriends. Oh,
hey
yeah.
Now. Oh, yeah. That's where it's at.
Information? Do we know?
I can do a deep dive. I'm really good at stalking on Instagram. I can do that for you guys. I'll do that.
My report.
So I will ask you guys, though, what does this mean for all the Jameis Winston truthers out there? He still doesn't have a home.
Poor kid doesn't have a home. He's homeless.
I don't know, Tate, to be honest with you, I'm shocked right now at the movement. Like when Bridgewater went and Jameis has not moved on, I don't know what to think. Is there just no faith? Is it the 130 plus turnovers in 5 years of football that has finally bit him in the ass?
Well, he fumbled the ball 50 times and threw 88 interceptions. Now, he didn't lose all of those fumbles, but I mean, think in 72 games, the man had the potential to lose 130 turnovers plus. I mean, that's not – Levy, tell me I'm crazy, but I don't think no matter how great of a coach you are, even the likes of Bill Belichick, do you think that anybody wants to try to take on that big of a headache and try to justify to the rest of their team, hey, we're going to hold you accountable, you better do your job, but Jameis Winston turns the ball over at an alarming rate? I think that we're finding out that, look, you still have to take care of the football no matter if you lead the league in passing yardage or not.
No, I mean – I don't think you're crazy by any means, but I think Jameis is in for a rude awakening here. Obviously now, I mean, we were talking about it earlier before you jumped on. There's not a lot of spots left for him to land. So at this point, it's almost looking like he's going to be a backup somewhere. He's going to be making backup money. So we're going from 30 million, which is what he was asking for, which is absurd for those type of turnovers, to likely less than $10 million a year.
Not all turnovers are bad. There are apple turnovers that are quite good, peach turnovers. There's a few types of turnovers that I really love. But the ones that I hate most were those opening drive Jameis turnovers that just turn the game on its head immediately. And I think that is what has relegated him at this point.
Those are tasty turnovers right there.
Yes.
So what about, I want to ask, because there's still some interesting names.
Y'all ever had a ham steak turnover? Because that's the recipe coming with cooking with Bucky here this weekend. Yeah. We're doing a little ham steak turnover. Yep.
Ooh, is that like a ham steak meat pie? I'm kind of into that.
It's really all about that savory and sweet mix is what you really go for.
So and what would be the sweet?
That's the sugar. It's a turnover, for Christ's sake.
Well, I thought maybe you were going to add an extra something sweet, like some apple, some element that's going to enhance and really bring out those savory, sweet notes.
I'll be honest with you, you just revolutionized it. It's going to be a ham steak and apple turnover.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
There we go. Sign me up.
Who else you got your eye on, brother?
Melvin Gordon. Where the hell is
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon going to go? I mean, we have the Miami Dolphins. I mean, I think they acquired Jordan Howard. So to me, that actually helps Boston Scott a little bit. I thought he had a real nice finish to the year there in Philadelphia. And, of course, with Darren Sproles calling it quits, hanging him up. I mean, it looks as if right now, barring any, unforeseen changes, that it's going to be Miles Sanders and Boston Scott heading into the 2020 season for the Philadelphia Eagles on the ground. Now, Miami brought in Jordan Howard. It seems like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons are really the two top landing spots for Melvin Gordon. So, I mean, I'm kind of curious, though. Why would you – I mean, if you're the Buccaneers and you're Tom Brady, I mean, is it really worth giving up someone like Godwin to go get Todd Gurley? Is he really even that much of an improvement over Melvin Gordon?
I think that Gurley's an improvement over Melvin Gordon.
No.
No?
I don't at this point. No, I don't know. I don't feel great about that.
You're like, no, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
I like
have no
Gurley as a
feelings.
player, but like he's not as dynamic as he was 2 years ago. That's evident.
Yeah. But if he has someone to compliment him like Rojo that will take the pressure off so he doesn't have to be the workhorse back, maybe it is a good fit.
You're trying to
Double
talk
advocate,
yourself
yeah.
into your dynasty pick of Rojo in the 8th round, Sam. I see where you're coming from. It's fine. I try to talk myself into picks all the time. But
I'm just trying to be positive.
Tate,
me
the
alone.
fact that you have that memorized, like you knew exactly when Sam took Rojo in our
That
dynasty.
just means that you wanted him.
I mean, Victor Jades is saying Tater for real estate. Look, I got to remember these stock up, stock down. The market is always moving as far as fantasy stock value for dynasty players. So come on, I'm all in my sales pitch here in my suit and tie.
I know. I feel like I need to change my insurance policy based on how you're dressed.
Tate, you usually unbutton the jacket when you sit. That's just like kind of a rule of thumb.
Yeah, that's kind of
Is it a
what
rule
guys
of thumb?
normally do.
It
Yeah,
is.
it is.
Yeah.
Look, I don't follow
If
suit.
the three of us said it and I'm a girl,
And I'm a fat dude, so I know better than anybody.
Point is, I mean,
I don't need an extra button in my split pea soup at the wedding, okay?
need a little bit of extra wick. Yeah, it does look a little weird when you go like this. But
yeah, you also shouldn't do that.
yeah, I'm just trying to stretch it out a little bit. All those jack
Stretch, and the mic is about to hear a rip.
The quarantine hits hard, brother.
It's hard.
So, I mean, but seriously, though, about Melvin Gordon or Devonta Freeman and some of these other free agent running backs, Carlos Hyde also comes to mind. Is there any – if you're the Bucs, considering what you're going to have to pay potentially each of these options, do one of those three stand out? I mean, we can also talk about any of the other potential teams that are in need of a running back. We don't have to just make this all about the Tampa Bay Bucs, but it is kind of interesting because I feel like Brady's coming in there, probably been given some control or the ability to sign off on bringing in certain players. So I'm just interested which ones jump out to y'all.
Y'all, you said y'all. That's what jumps out to me.
I love that, Tater, that you said y'all. There you go, your Southern roots. But I'm still leaning Melvin Gordon going to the Bucs. It just seems to make the most sense, assuming they can get him at a reasonable price. I just don't know how big the market is for Melvin Gordon right now. I don't think he's going to get nearly as much money as he thought he would. But yeah, I'm curious to see how that unfolds. I like Devonta Freeman as a player too, but I think he'd be a lot cheaper of an option.
Sure, I could see that.
His best days are behind him, though.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about three running backs who's truly their best days are behind them. I don't think that we're looking at three guys that are going to break out, be the top, three running back in the league. These are three running backs that have veteran qualities that would be really beneficial behind someone like Brady.
Bucky?
I got no comment, Tate. You said y'all, and that really was all
See?
I needed from you.
It threw us off, Tate.
I apologize.
No, I don't know. I would be a fool if I were to sit on here and prognosticate on whether or not Brady is going to be pulling the strings, puppet master style, pulling in every player he wants.
He is. Believe it.
Now, if that's the case, let's talk about the elephant in the room again. Gronk, Bucks.
Oh God! Don't even start those rumors.
It's Tampa. Gronk owns a home here.
Oh man.
Where is he? I mean, they still have Cameron Braid and OJ Howard on
Trade
the
them both. Get them out of here.
Get him out. Get Gronk in.
Gronk is being held together by pins and is in no shape for football. Have you seen him lately? He's lost at least 50 pounds.
Sam, Gronk see football, Gronk catch football. That's how this works.
Gronk's going to be our slot receiver in 2020.
Yep. That's all this has been. It's the reshaping of Gronk. This has been the long play. This has been
remake
play
him.
for
We will
3
remake
years.
him stronger.
This has been the plan. It's being executed brilliantly. Brady, look, 2020 comes. You head to Tampa. I'm going to take a year off of football. I'm going to get down to 230 pounds. I'm going to be your slot man. Brady, you cool with that? And Brady goes, yeah. And then Gronk goes, ha, 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 ha.
I do want to ask one serious question about Tom Brady to Tampa Bay, though, as far as his fantasy value goes, because obviously it's huge hype train is moving along now with TB12 in Tampa Bay. Are there any concerns, though, with this offensive line for the Bucs? I mean, say what you want about Jameis Winston. One of his abilities was the ability to be able to extend plays, improvise. Brady is obviously a master manipulator of the pocket, but I think both offensive tackles for the Bucs are huge potential issues, especially with a lot of the deeper 7-step passing concepts that exist in Bruce Arians' offense. So it does beg the question, is Brady a top 10 fantasy quarterback in this offense? I know he has great weapons, but I'm concerned about his protection, guys, his offensive line, because we saw what it looked like last year with a suspect offensive line there in New England. I know he didn't have nearly the weapons that he does in Tampa Bay, but I just want to play devil's advocate here and ask to not overlook some of those concerns.
They're valid. Every concern you just labeled is completely valid, but I think before you join us, Tate, I think they need to invest a first and second round draft pick into the offensive line. Period. Point blank.
Levy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not personally worried about it because I know that the offensive line is going to look a lot different, assuming the season starts semi soon or the offseason starts and all that, and they're able to get together. I think things are going to change. That's evident, right? We're not just going to be happy with the line we have currently. And part of me also thinks that Arians is going to adjust this offense a little bit to Brady's style. I don't know that I see him taking those 7-step drops that you're saying anymore.
I disagree there.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they have to alter the offense a little bit.
No, Arians predicates his entire scheme on having that flex and in between the different layers of the defense. Tate, you could probably oblige that.
Yeah, I'm not. You don't. I mean, I get it. You want to make some accommodations and some changes to, obviously maximize what Brady still has left in the tank. If you're Bruce Arians, not just, square peg, meet round hole. But look, I don't see Bruce Arians going out and moving on from Jameis Winston, not bringing in Teddy Bridgewater or any of the other potential quarterbacks on the market this offseason if he didn't think that Brady could be extensively successful running his system. So I think that answers the question. The offensive line is the biggest concern I have.
Sure.
But I think they're going to draft that for sure.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Bucs bring in Dion Lewis. They need a pass-catching specialist out of the backfield. I mean, unless you're a huge believer in Dare Ogunbowale.
No, not a believer.
Not just because I can't say it.
I will dare to Dare.
It may be interesting with what Brady can do with your boy there, Dare.
Let's get to some of these questions / comments / bashes real quick.
Ooh, bashes.
There's a couple in here. Just some shots. Where is Jameis going to end up? My dynasty team relies on that LASIK loser.
You're screwed then, pal.
B, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, the patio probably will need some staff here shortly here down the street.
Yeah.
After the 30-day ban on bars. So maybe the patio.
Yeah, there you go. Patio. Could be a server.
Anyone else have a guess?
I still think I want to say the Los Angeles Chargers, but I just get the feeling that they're okay with potentially moving forward with Tyrod Taylor. I've heard Cam Newton The Carolina Panthers have been contacted by the Chargers about potentially what the cost would be to bring on Cam Newton. But the thing is, Cam has to still pass a physical to validate any trade.
Yep.
So that's going to complicate any potential trade partners that the Carolina Panthers have for Cam Newton.
Sure.
So other places for Cam, I mean, the Bears was the one that jumped out to me, but they just traded for Nick Foles, BDN. Yeah. So...
Which we had a lengthy discussion. Lengthy. Did you see what I did there?
Yeah.
About Nick Foles.
Real huge.
I thought the conversation, Sam, was a bit more girthy rather than
lengthy.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd prefer to have, equal parts of both, of those words. However,
yeah, they call that a brick.
Look. I can't touch the bottom of a tuna can, but I can mess up the sides.
Settle down, kids.
Get it?
Listen, man, I'm
around.
I got the coronavirus madness going, man. I've been in this house for fucking 7 days.
Oh man,
we need the NSFW podcast.
Right. Dried Ocean. The Bucks will not be taking a kicker in the second round again. Will is happy to have us all together.
Yay! The band is back together.
We got the ham steak recipe coming up on Instagram.
Wait, did you bypass?
I gotta figure out what I'm doing with the ham steak turn.
I thought you were doing a turnover.
I gotta figure it out.
What you could do is you could potentially offer Bill O'Brien a couple of those ham steaks, and you'll probably get Deshaun Watson in return.
That's the long play, Tate. Listen, that's the long play. You don't throw me under the bus right now, okay?
Can you send them to him for JJ Watt to go to the Steelers? Just put me on the return address. That'd be great.
Throw anything at Bill O'Brien, and he might say yes.
Yeah, who knows? He might be losing his job soon if he continues at this rate.
How did he not lose his job already? He had a 24-0 lead at Arrowhead.
Kevin, what's up, man? Hey, glad to hear from you. Yeah, Jameis is not a starter.
No.
Not at this point. I just felt like you give him one more year. I hope you're doing well, brother.
What the hell is New England going to do at quarterback?
We said earlier, we think this is the year they tank. This is the year they tank and they wait for Trevor.
Tater, need your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Watch Jarrett Stidham. Watch them end up going and winning the AFC East with Jarrett Stidham under center. Sorry to burst the bubble, Bucky, if that actually happens.
Yeah.
But your boy Josh Allen better be able to put down the likes of the New England Patriots without Tommy Boy. Otherwise, it's just they're going to be mentally owned.
No, I love the idea that Belichick is just medieval masterminding a full-on tank this year so that he can get Trevor Lawrence next year.
It's intriguing.
I really like that. I think that's a great take.
I don't know, but everything you hear about Stidham is positive, of course.
Sure, I'm sure he's a delightful kid.
Positive.
Don't you get the feeling that Derek Carr could be had for the right price out of Las Vegas?
Yes.
Sure.
That's where I think Jameis is going to end up. That's what's going to happen. Carr is going to go to New England, and Jameis is going to go to Vegas.
Vegas makes sense because that's where like sideshows go. So watch the man that can throw to everyone that's not on his team.
If they get rid of Carr and the Raiders do bring in Jameis Winston, that'll be a hell of a quarterback room with Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. How about them going like, hey, how the hell did we both wind up here?
That would be unbelievable, man.
Picks in the 2015 draft.
Right.
Perfect for Vegas. It's like waking up in The Hangover, and then they're like, why is there a tiger in the bathroom? What happened? What did we do yesterday? Like, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Which one? I mean, is Jameis Winston? He's got to be.
Jameis Winston is no, he's not Phil. What's the name of the guy who pulled out his tooth?
Stu.
Yeah, he's Stu. Jameis Winston is Stu, and Mariota is Phil. And wait, who's going to be Zach Galifianakis in this?
John Gruden.
I will gladly be Zach Galifianakis.
Oh. Do you use a satchel?
I honestly own quite a few satchels. It's a
puss, okay?
Yeah, it's a personal thing, Sam. So,
do you keep Skittles in there?
No, I don't. Mostly take 5 bars.
There are Skittles in there. Sorry.
So Indiana Jones wears one.
That's a great question. Victor,
What does this mean? I'm confused.
No. It's bagged milk.
What is that?
It's a real deal. They're bagging milk. Now, here's my observation on bagged milk here. That's its natural state. The milk is naturally in an udder, which is essentially just a skin-surrounded bag. So when you think about it, that milk is in its most primo state if it's in a bag. So if you have bagged milk, I feel like the milk is feeling natural at that point. And I'm all about the natural lifestyle. Clearly, you can tell by my complexion and how I look that I live a natural life. So if it's purely natural, the bag, it imitates life. Therefore, vis-a-vis concordantly, I think you have a perfect setup here, and you are just replicating nature in form of the bagged milk. So I'm all for it.
Wait, I love how Derek just looks worried, and Ryan's just like same shit, different day.
Well, I'm over here Googling bagged milk, and I'm just very confused. I didn't know this was a real thing.
I'm trying to figure out how I was able to sneak away from the desk to jump on this podcast to talk about bagged milk.
I'm just saying, I think
free agency, man, it's wild.
I just think that milk feels like it's where it needs to be in the bag. You know, I feel like every bit of milk that's in a plastic carton is feeling out of place and possibly homeless. Now, when it's in the bag, it feels at home. It feels cared for. So I'm all for bagged milk.
Oh, man. Interesting. Uncle Mike joining the crew says Tater gets his suit from Goodwill.
See, if you undid that top button, it wouldn't look so stiff.
It's undone. What are you doing? God, I feel like I just flashed the camera. Hi, like, you know.
Oh, man. All right, let's get something serious here. Tater, give us your thoughts on Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina.
It's kind of weird. Why would Bucky, I think you're one of the biggest haters of Cam Newton. Maybe
big
not.
Time. Yeah, no, big time. You
big
joined
time.
us after I
didn't want to put words in your mouth, but I remember a couple times you slamming Cam. So I don't understand what Teddy Bridgewater has done to earn, first off, the contract that he got, which was like $63 million over 3 years. Second, he won 5 games with a pretty damn loaded roster there with the New Orleans Saints. Not that he didn't beat some good teams, he did, and he played well. I'm not giving him a hard time. I commend him for being ready when his number got called, but he had a 5-game stint with the New Orleans Saints, and prior to that, of course, he had that devastating devastating leg injury with the Minnesota Vikings that pretty much ended his time there. And then he kind of bounced around a little bit when he didn't have his legs underneath of him. And now had a nice little 5-game stretch. But you're moving on from Cam Newton, who's been your guy since 2011. And yeah, he's had 2 injury-plagued finish to 2018. And then last year, he wasn't ready to go and played 2 games that may as well have been thrown out the window. I don't understand why you had to move on from Cam Newton for Teddy for a 5-game stretch since he's returned from his leg injury. I don't agree with it. Now, if we're just analyzing DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel and Ian Thomas, I think they'll do just fine with Teddy Bridgewater. Their fantasy value doesn't move. It just kind of stays even with me. If you like him before, you still like him now. But to me, Teddy Bridgewater is a game manager. He's good for winning football games, but it doesn't help any of their value fantasy-wise to me.
I don't think that he needs to overall enhance the game more than just be a very, very efficient ball manager, like you just said, because they've got Christian McCaffrey to do a lot of the legwork, literal legwork that they need them to do. So they just need someone that's going to be consistent. And I think that Bridgewater showed consistency when he was playing for Breeze this past year. And so I think with that, they're going to get something positive. I see Bucky shaking his head no, so I'm really excited for this.
No, I personally would have brought in Charlie Batch. I think he solves every problem that they have there in Carolina.
Sure.
I just heard you say ball manager. Just manage the balls there, Teddy. In Carolina, you'll be just fine.
You said it first.
Or you could get a
game manager, not ball manager.
Or you could get a bald manager. You get a bald manager like Chuck Batch.
Sure. Yeah. Bald manager.
I'm indifferent on the move. I don't
hate
think
Cam.
I
If
don't
I
think it
didn't make it
improves
apparent,
anything for
I just
Carolina.
don't think he's a good quarterback anymore.
I think it was premature. I thought that he actually took some of his biggest steps as a pure passer in 2018 before he got hurt. It's
I think that's the
unfortunate.
problem, Tate. He's not a pure passer. He'll never be a pure passer.
No.
And he's been in the league for 9 years. You need to be a pure passer at that point if you don't have the running element to your game.
Carolina did Cam way dirtier than Tampa Bay did Jameis.
That's true.
Well, I mean, Cam also didn't turn the ball over 138 times.
That's true. So
Cam also didn't get suspended 3 games for grabbing an Uber driver's crotch.
Yeah, Tate, we like to well, in that case, Jameis never get a job.
you're not getting a job, buddy. You're too
He's
crazy.
gonna get a job somewhere. He's probably gonna be the backup in Tampa Bay for $5 million a year. So you know what?
No.
Yeah, but he's gonna be told to go sit in the corner and think about what he did.
All right, Cogs, what's up?
Don't
Again,
make me
dude.
sign Tom Brady. Don't make me do it.
This is a good point. He's talking about the Bucks here. Those listening, once we improve the line, do we really need a better running back? It's a valid point.
I'm on that boat. I think you invested in Rojo 2 years ago. It hasn't come to fruition yet, but I think Rojo has at least a little bit of gas in the tank. My only concern right now is, like Tate said, Dare is really the only passing threat or receiving threat out of the backfield currently. Rojo can't do it. Peyton's never been asked to do it. And I'm just not sure that they're equipped for Tom Brady check down mania, which he does so efficiently. And honestly, when you watch Patriots games over the last 20 years, what stands out most to me is just how efficiently he checks down to those running backs, right?
Absolutely.
It's not based on panic. It's based on reading what's going on in the defense and saying, oh shit, there's 5 yards right there.
Yep.
Hit it.
It's ability to take a scalpel to a defense with his throwing.
So I agree with you, Cogs, is that I think that we can make things work if we address the offensive line. I think we have enough there to make it work. However, Tommy's up there like, hey, can we get a little James White clone going in the lab?
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that. And they're going to draft a running back this year who is inclined to receive the football. There's no doubt about that. I think that that'll be not the primary target, obviously shore up the offensive line, but I think that you will have a receiving running back as a target in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds.
I believe that you do need to bring in someone that is either get somebody that's a 3-down bell cow back or get someone that can combo with Rojo. One of the two. Whether you want to bring in Dion Lewis and feature Rojo, or if you want to bring in Melvin Gordon who can play all 3 downs, I'm okay with either of those options. But Rojo scares the living hell out of me, boys and gal. That normally it's boys, but boys and gal. Team. Y'all. See, this is why I said y'all.
There you go.
Anyway.
All makes so much more sense now, I guess.
Rojo scares me with his blocking. He missed blocking assignments, which didn't allow him to steal the job from Peyton Barber.
Yep.
And if you can't steal the job from Peyton Barber, then not a whole lot of confidence moving forward in him. Especially with Brady. You better not miss pass blocking assignments with Tommy Boy.
No way. He'll eat him alive. Can't block, can't catch. That's not a Brady back.
Well said.
All right. We talked about this earlier, Tater. Didn't get your opinion on it. AB. Real quick, give us your thoughts on that before we move on to the Bucks.
I mean, we should talk about it when he gets signed with the Bucks.
Yeah, there we go.
Until then, I mean, it's all hearsay. And even if he does get signed with the Bucks or any other football team, I mean, he's still got to get by Roger Goodell before he actually gets on the football field. So
yeah, I agree. I think it actually happens, though. I do see it happening maybe for the second half of the season after he's.
Do you think Goodell is essentially the bouncer at the college bar when you're 19 with a fake ID who's just like, AB, dog, you ain't getting in here tonight. He kicks his ass out.
Absolutely, but then let's send 3 girls behind him that are clearly 18.
Well, no comment. That was just part of my personal experience there, Sam. I
Saying
wasn't
the
part of
analogy works in different ways.
I wasn't part of the cool club.
Bucky, will we get to see Tom Brady in a Snapchat late night on Dale Mabry?
Most certainly. They have a great fresh juice squeeze store that is just north of Mons Venus. So I'm sure we're going to get a late night there at a nice vegetable juicer, and he'll be doing his thing. He's not frequenting the many haunts there on North Dale Mabry. But I'll keep my eyes out.
Oh, man. All right. Questions are getting weird in here, guys. I love it.
It's amazing. I hope you guys are all drinking as much wine as I am. I need to go get another
I have a bad habit of turning these things weird, don't I?
Oh, my God.
No, B. I'm not saying that Canadians are surviving off breast milk. Quite the opposite. What I'm saying is that cows, female cows, have udders, and those are natural bags, and that's cow milk. So I can't really make a 1-to-1 correlation between that and breast milk, but what I'm saying is it's still this is based on cows. Okay, we're still doing the cow thing, and
why are we rehashing this?
Cows have udders, Tate.
Why are we rehashing this? Please move on. Fantasy football related, please.
All right, here we go. Another Bucks question.
Talk about breast milk and cows and udders.
There was a question, Tate.
Oh my God.
If the Bucks trade a starter to get someone, who are we getting rid of, and what position are we taking? Offensive line.
I mean, I'm hoping that if we're trading away players, starting caliber players, like Chris Godwin has apparently been linked to trade rumors.
There's no way. Let's talk about that first. There's no shot. He is arguably up for being a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL next year and years to come.
Sure. Especially with the
if you're getting Brandon Cooks and Todd Gurley in return, I mean, a former league MVP candidate who's still only going to be 26 this upcoming season, and Todd Gurley and Brandon Cooks, who's only 28, and a proven veteran wide receiver deep threat for Tom Brady, who has a history with them. Do I think the Bucs should do that trade? Hell no. I'm just saying it makes sense because the Bucs need a running back, and you're still getting a veteran wide receiver to replace the hole that Godwin would leave.
What you're saying is that the dangling appetizer at your plate, like the buffalo shrimp at Hooters, is essentially that Cooks and Gurley trade. They're dangling it right in your face. They're like, hey, eat me, dip me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're asking you. And you're saying no. Not doing it.
Absolutely not.
Not doing it. Not doing no fried foods March.
That can't be a thing.
That is a new thing.
No fried foods March?
March 18th, starting date.
What? I'm not down.
Well, I'm only eating ham steak now, so no fried foods.
Speaking of,
why do you time that with every time I take a swig of wine? It's like I'm about to have this wine going across the screen on the laptop. Like, what?
I look forward to that day, Sam.
It's going to come out my nose. It's happened before. Happen again.
All right, I got a question for you, Tater, football related. Why do the Raiders go and get Jason Witten when you've got a guy like Darren Waller?
That's a great question. I honestly think that the meeting of the minds between two former ESPN color commentators on Monday Night Football, just imagine the analysis they're going to be able to come up with between John Gruden and Jason Witten. That's a pairing that we'll never, ever get to see together on air. I would love to. Other than that, I don't. It makes no sense. I mean, you have Darren Waller, who I thought looked like a top 5 tight end at times. I mean, definitely as a receiving threat. I mean, it's just like a veteran depth move, man. That's the only explanation I could possibly give.
I agree with that. I mean, you only bring in someone like him for the veteran aspect. You don't bring him in to start when you have someone like Darren Waller, who is amazing as just an athlete. He proved it last year, like you said, potential to be top 5 at the tight end position. I think it will be interesting to see how the gameplay changes with Witten on the team for that aspect. But I do not think you bring him on there as your number one.
No way. It's just a weird move for me. I just didn't really understand it. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Maybe it was more of like, drinking, they were texting, and they're like, dude, just come and play for a little bit. Like, we'll pretend you're playing, but really it'll just be like part of the coaching staff. And he's like,
no,
okay.
Folks, you got to read through the tea leaves here.
Ooh, you read tea leaves?
I love tea leaves personally. I like a little Earl.
I'm learning so much about you, Bucky. I love it.
Yeah, I like a little Earl's Gray is what I prefer.
Does it belong to Earl? Is that why it's Earl's and not Earl?
It's Earl's Gray if you want to speak the native tongue, but that's just me.
Tongue.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
No, what y'all are missing here is that this is simply them prepping to be the most dynamic booth team in the world in 2022. You're going to have Gruden and Witten doing games for either Fox or CBS, maybe even ESPN if they don't go into shambles by then. At this point, ESPN probably in shambles. But it's going to be CBS, Fox, Gruden, X, Witten, perfect booth combination. Because if there was anyone who did a fantastic job in the booth, it was one Jason Witten. I mean, he pulled the rabbit out of the head. He did everything we asked of him. It's only improving from here.
Kicked ourselves in the foot plenty of times.
Yeah, we did kick ourselves in the foot, didn't we, Tater?
I'll tell you what, man, we sure as hell did. That's why I went ahead and brought on Jason Witten, man, to go with Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota, man. I'm going to get the most out of this Mariota kid. I'm telling you, man. He can play.
Yeah. I'm telling you. I got an Isuzu Trooper here, man.
Maserati, man. Drive that sucker to Las Vegas. I roll some craps every now and then. I know how to roll the dice.
Is Isuzu... I wish that Tate and I could just talk back and forth in a Gruden accent together. I think that'd be just a great 30-minute segment at one point.
I think you could include that in the same segment where you're debuting a new ham steak recipe for us.
I really got to get it. I got to get the axe to the grindstone on the ham steak.
You do. Yeah. I'm going to keep bugging you about it. I'll send text at like 2 a.m. Just make sure it happens.
Don't do that.
2 a.m. my time is definitely 5 a.m. your time.
The problem is, Sam, I sleep so light. You can't be texting me at 2. Don't do that.
You shouldn't have told me that. You shouldn't have told me that.
It's because of the nightmares I have night to night.
It's okay. I texted you guys all at 5 a.m. Pacific time this morning, so hopefully I didn't wake any of you up. Actually, Buck, you texted a minute before me, so you were awake. You were on Eastern time zone, so it's all good.
Yeah,
honestly, today was a complete blur. Everything that's happening.
I don't remember today.
It's all happening so quick, and I want all of you to really stay healthy, stay focused, but at the same time, take a step back. We're living in just the weirdest period of time that I think any of us can really account for living here in the States. So I know a lot of our listeners probably feel the same way. It just feels weird. So we're going to keep on bringing this content to the folks.
I want to ask.
Keep on.
I want to ask. I'm raising my hand because I feel like this is the best way to I'm like in class, hi, it's my turn.
Yeah, there's a lot of us.
Can we talk about this atrocity? I mean, I know that we talked about the awful trade for DeAndre Hopkins, David Johnson. We already talked about that on an earlier episode, but their grandmaster plan from Bill O'Brien was to overpay Randall Cobb.
I was going to bring that up. I love it.
What the hell are they doing? I mean, who is the one receiver to draft right now? I mean, maybe Will Fuller is the one you feel the best about. I'm assuming they're probably going to bring in some talent via the draft, but
they're not done.
No,
dude, Deshaun Watson is throwing to freaking scrubs now outside of Will Fuller. No offense to Kenny Stills, but that was offensive. Sorry, Kenny. But
I shouldn't be so offensive for Stills. But okay, what's their first pick in the draft then? Anyone know that off the top of their head?
I don't even know that off the top of my head. No,
they don't have a first.
It's like we don't even know football. Okay, I got it written down somewhere. Give me a moment.
Well, they traded all for Laramie Tunsil, didn't they?
Yes.
Poor guys.
Who they don't want to pay now. So, what the hell is Bill O'Brien doing? Oh my God. Yeah, I agree. The one of the original, accounts of YouTube. agreeing that he's getting paid like it's 2014 and he's still catching passes from Aaron Rodgers.
I think Randy Cobb is still pretty badass. He's 29 years old.
That's Bucky.
He's not
Also,
old.
have you seen his eyes? They're beautiful. They're like this
My
clear oceany blue.
My
They're just
goodness.
like they turn green sometimes. They're just so magnificent.
It's like if you took the ocean and put it in a pearl.
Exactly.
And then
Thank
put it
you.
in an
Bucks gets
eyeball.
it. Yeah, and then it just shines from every angle.
Oh, like two olives, blue olives.
Unbelievable.
That's why I'm
Wow,
trashing on
olives are
Cobb
mad.
because of his eyes.
Handsome
Look,
man.
if you can't appreciate a man's eyes, Tate, you need to look in the mirror because you got great eyes.
Oh, yeah, I know. The hair's all spiky today. It's actually sticking up.
It's like you styled it.
I'm having a hell of a day.
It's like you're on TV or something.
I love it.
But so I will ask you, do any of these guys crack your top 25 on draft day as of right now? If this is the crew that they're rolling into opening day of the 2020 NFL season with, Cobb, Kenny Stills, and Will Fuller, do any of them come off the board as a top 25 option, even though I still think Deshaun Watson's a top 10 quarterback?
Fuller deserves a look,
He does.
but he has to stay healthy. That's the
Yes.
problem here.
Absolutely.
We've seen what Fuller can do, Tate, and you know as well as I do, he has a bag of tricks that many players in the NFL do not possess. The problem is that bag of tricks, he loses it from time to time because he's parking in the handicap spot.
He
And
loses it a lot, man.
yeah, quite a bit there, Levy. So I feel like Fuller will be the first off the board, but the real gem fantasy wise is Kenny Stills. Like Kenny Stills is the stable receiver who he's never gonna wow you, but my goodness, you feel really good coming off the car lot with Kenny Stills.
Sure.
He's a Hyundai Elantra.
Hyundai Elantra or Toyota Corolla?
Yeah.
A used one, he's always heard
Corolla.
too.
No Corolla. He's an Elantra. Let's
an
be
Elantra?
honest here. Yeah.
All right. I was going to say he's like the guy that is the fifth guy that you text just to get coffee, but you know he's going to say yes.
So basically me.
Oh man.
I'm still reporting for duty. What was that? You need something? Yeah.
I actually
Look,
I think Randall Cobb is the most valuable fantasy asset. I think that he's probably the guy that's going to get the highest volume, working primarily out of the slot. Dude, and by the way, I think that Will Fuller had some of those monster games, guys, because of how much attention DeAndre Hopkins demanded.
Completely agreed, Tate.
So now you add extra attention to Will Fuller and the fact that the man just can't stay healthy. I think he's going to be overdrafted. I would much rather have shares of Stills and your boy Cobb.
Yeah, no
Is
chance.
he the oldest of those three?
Top 25.
No, Cobb still is.
Cobb's the
Stills
oldest.
is
He's the
27.
oldest, so why is he the number one then?
Because Cobb rules.
Slot volume, and the other two are just home run threats, in my opinion. They're not high volume guys. I mean, yes, they're going to get huge monster games from time to time, and Stills is a little bit more reliable health-wise than Will Fuller, but that's not saying much. Cobb is going to be, I think, the most consistent target volume presence of the three.
And don't forget about those blue olive eyes.
They're not olives, they're pearls, because pearls sparkle.
I love it.
So pretty.
Let's wrap up with this question. Actually, we've got two more questions. I'm going to finish this
Oh,
off
we
here.
should have so many more questions.
I know, right? We're just talking about blue eyes, ham steaks, bagged milk, all sorts of interesting things. I'm learning a lot today out here on the internet. It's
And Bucky likes tea?
times are weird.
What? It's a weird time.
We forgot. We didn't even mention QT. Thanks, Will. That's a good call.
Come on, Will. Come on.
He really thought
Will
of
Jenkins
favorites.
keeps us honest, and that's why I love him.
Will Jenkins, look, Will. I mean,
We're a gentleman and a scholar.
Kiki QT got benched for DeAndre Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. QT's time is come and gone in my book, pal. All right, boy, let's do that. Willie Jenkins. Sorry. That's my one
Is Dak worth the kind of money he's getting paid? I mean, he's on a franchise tag, right?
Totally.
I mean, the way that those hips move, they don't lie. We should pay them.
Sam, you know me. I only judge people by their ability to move their hips, and there's nobody that does a better job than Dak Prescott.
And based on the moves we just saw from Tate, he should be fired.
Right.
Tate, look, I've seen Tate live and in person from the sidelines, and I've also sacked him numerous times. Not the greatest hips in the world, Tate.
Wait,
and I don't want to dog you, but the hips were the problem. Am I wrong?
I actually thought I had pretty good hips. I ran a really good 20-yard shuttle, but
great hip state.
Just not hips like Dak.
So what does it mean then that I sacked you so often when we were youths? Did I have better hips?
Yeah, you must have. You must have when I was wearing the wrong color. When I was wearing the wrong color as a Newport Richie Buccaneer.
Can I ask you a deep question that I think is great because Sam's got a huge glass of wine right there, and I've
drank half of this. That tells you how big this glass of wine is.
What you got for me, Buck? What you got for me, Buck?
After the first time I ever sacked you, did you realize there was a problem, and you were like deathly afraid of what was happening with number 50 coming at you?
Well, that's why I think it was after that day that I decided that I need to step my game up. Which is why I became an ascending youth talent that that fell a little bit short of the mark of a professional football player. But it was definitely that was the turning point.
But what was the feeling after the first sack? Things are going to be dicey today.
I just thought you got lucky.
Didn't think it was coming again.
Somebody got after number 2.
When you're young, you don't think it's your fault. You're like, oh, I must mess up.
Tate, he got lucky. The best part of this was Tate denying that it ever happened until I busted out the film when we were 21 years old.
Where is it?
Where is it?
I want to see it again.
Is that tape on YouTube?
I wish it was. But it was the best. You were there for a tailgate, Tate. Your hips, trust me. This is not dogging you, Tate. You were an awesome player. But I had my one moment in the sun when we were like 10 years old. that was still like the best game of my life. And I love that I can just dog your hips based on that one game.
I mean, not just hips, but overall stature if you sacked him.
I sacked him 6 times in one game, Sam.
I was under siege.
Sam, this number changes every time we bring this up.
There's 6 sacks in one game.
He set the single game record. 27 times.
Set the Pee Wee League record. Look it up on Wikipedia. Bucky holds the record.
Oh man!
Look, I don't hold much anymore. Okay.
So we got off Dak. We got off Dak in this question from Kevin.
Is Dak worth that kind of money? I think all of us were saying.
I'd say yes. I like Dak. I think Dak is
I think he's worth the money.
I say yes based on the current market of the National Football League.
Agreed.
And I think that's the right way to say that. He's worth that money based on the market.
What hasn't he done to earn that type of payday? I mean, not only has he gotten to the playoffs 2 out of the 4 years of the first 4 years of his NFL career, he was a 4th-round draft pick that significantly outplayed his rookie contract by a landslide. And he finished 2nd in the NFL last year in passing yardage, only behind Jameis Winston. So, yeah, Dak Prescott has definitely earned that type of payday.
I agree.
I
think if they don't extend him soon, though, the price tag is going to continue to go up next year. So hopefully they can work out a long-term deal in the near future here. But
I really want to hear the media stop talking about his damn contract too. Please work it out, Gary Jones.
I mean, we have so many other things to talk about. Why are we still talking about it? We now have stuff to talk about.
Like Diggs his value going up, down, or around the same. Bucky.
I mean, I really want to know. Wait, Bucks.
Yeah.
Did you pre-order your Stephon Diggs jersey?
I don't do Bills jerseys because I don't want to cry myself to sleep in them.
But this could be the year.
I hope we win the division, but so to answer Dried Ocean's question, I think it's the same as it was. I think this doesn't necessarily mean all of a sudden we have like a huge boost in Stephon Diggs' output. What I do think is he's going to be on a team now that defensively very poised to have a good year. Offensively, shore up the offensive line, which I know we've already kind of worked towards. I think this team has a chance to be a real contender, and not just a divisional contender, but fighting towards the end of the playoff run. I really believe in that. So fantasy-wise, I think his stock is exactly where it was in Minnesota because I have faith. John Brown is a hell of a player.
He's a hell of a player. Yep.
He's going to continue doing his thing. I think having Stephon Diggs on one side, John Brown on the other, Cole Beasley in the slot, that's a lineup. And Dawson Knox, if he takes that next step, the weapons of Josh Allen, they are numerous. Devin Singletary out of the backfield, my goodness. I mean, it could get wild if they do the right things with this draft.
I was going to say the biggest boost, I think, comes to Singletary because who on this – I mean, you have two outside options that can win one-on-one matchups against corners.
Yep.
So if you're going to try to go 8-9 in the box with Diggs and John Brown both being able to win one-on-one matchups and get deep and vertical with an arm like Josh Allen – I think you're going to have to respect that, which means you're going to be running into softer fronts for your boy Devin Singletary. And, of course, Josh Allen's always a rushing threat himself. So I think it helps Devin Singletary the most. But Diggs is still going to be reliable wide receiver too. He's going to be boomer bust and kind of go up and down.
And that's any receiver.
Talking about breastfeeding, breast, best.
So we were talking about bags of milk earlier. I could see why you'd be confused.
I'm with you guys. Diggs' fantasy value is pretty much the same. I like him as a wide receiver 2 this year. But for me, I love Singletary. Absolutely. I want him as my RB2 in as many leagues as I can get him in.
He's motor. The guy just keeps going for it. He's good, man.
It's going to be a fun offense to be drafting. And I know that someone in one of my other dynasty leagues, Michelle, who I had on one of our fantasy debate podcasts last week or the week before, Michelle Majuk at Ball Blastum of the Ball Blast podcast. She keeps trying to get John Brown off of me in that dynasty league. And I'm sorry, Michelle. I'm not letting him go.
That a girl. I love it.
Mine.
Nice.
Sign us off, Tate.
Oh, no, I'm not going to sign off. I'm just a guest appearance here, man. I mean, I'm trying to still figure out my button situation.
I actually just saw something from Dried Ocean here. Allen has no excuses this year. If he doesn't improve, he should be out next year.
100%.
My goodness. What?
You
think so, Sam?
I mean,
I'll let you argue it.
No, he has so much at his disposal. So if the Bills don't perform the way that we expect given this offense, I mean, it's a terrible comparison, and I apologize ahead of time. Okay. But it's the same way we were talking about the Browns in the offseason last year, about Baker Mayfield having so much at his disposal and being able to do so many things with it. He didn't do that. So given how much he has now, it's similar just in the perform with what you got. If he can't make it work with this many people, then he's the problem.
I mean,
he went to the playoffs last year, though.
Yeah, exactly. They went 10-6 last year.
But if he doesn't meet or exceed that, then he's not doing his job.
I think he will. If there's any quarterback that wears his team, if there's any quarterback that like truly embodies their team's emotion, it's Josh Allen.
Sure.
He's
but we
going
all
to
felt
get
that way about Mayfield.
Year.
We thought he was going to redeem them for so many things. I'm just saying, devil's advocate. Sorry, but
fine.
The question is he going to,
But Josh Allen already did it.
He did it, yes.
He already did it.
But he didn't win a Super Bowl. To do it is to win a Super Bowl. So, yes, making the playoffs is nice, but
a Super Bowl this year, Sam.
I'm just saying, like, if he can't do it with this amount of weapons on his hand, and he's done already what he has, and Brady is out of it. No, you don't get rid of him, but no, I'm not saying you get rid of him. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that,
you start asking questions. You start asking questions.
You start saying, can you do this? Do we need to have bigger conversations? Do we have to bring you into the principal's office and figure out what the problem is?
Throw him in the bedroom.
Sam, do you ever have a bad week at work? I do.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's allowed to have a bad week, but he's not allowed to have a bad year.
He's not gonna have a bad year. He's a stud.
I like Josh Allen, man.
You guys just say that because he's a cute little baby-faced boy that you think has so much potential.
Well, I just see a lot of parallels between myself and him.
I'm trying to do that.
Mostly the rocket on.
That Chris Pratt gift.
It's just
Like,
a rocket arm.
I'll ask. So Sam, because Bucky and I were getting into this via text the other day after the news of Stephon Diggs being had for a first, like 3 different draft picks. Is Stephon Diggs even worth a first round NFL pick? I said no.
You guys were getting heated. I enjoyed that debate.
I feel like Stephon Diggs is definitely worth a high pick. First, I kind of bite my tongue and I question it, but he has so much potential. He has so much speed. He's proven himself at a multiple amounts of just different moments that his team depended on him and he did what he needed to do. So I think based on that, yes, 1 first round pick, but they did spend a lot on him.
But we had the excess draft picks.
So there you go. It's like when you got money to spend, it doesn't matter.
There you go. I just, for me personally, I'd rather have the known.
Sure.
I'd rather go with the known than the unknown in a draft pick. But I agree. They did give up a lot. But Bucky, you drive a good point.
They gave up.
I totally agree. I mean, what is Josh Doxson doing right now? Is he at the Texaco?
Okay. So now we're gonna start bringing up first round draft busts. I mean, we can go all day on this. I get it, but I'm just saying that DeAndre Hopkins was just had for a second rounder and a running back that's 1 foot in the coffin. I mean,
that's so mean. Is he just in his 30s?
No, David Johnson's not in his 30s. I'm just saying that David Johnson hasn't been really that damn good of a running back since 2016, which feels like an eternity ago. And if you got DeAndre Hopkins for a second, I mean,
we lived in a clean
DeAndre
world.
Hopkins in a heartbeat, but not on Stephon Diggs. There's too many games where he disappears. So that's just my opinion.
By the way, Victor, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Kevin Hart.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Burr, Chappelle, Hart.
Ooh, no, I'm going to go with Bucky. I'm going to go Chappelle, Burr, Hart.
I'm going Chappelle, Hart, Burr.
Ooh.
Oh,
Dang, I am not
Damn.
surprised that you like the Kevin Hart brand of comedy.
Yeah, I do. He's Kevin Hart.
I think he's
I'm
funny.
not a fan of his stand-up. I'm just not. I like him in movies, though.
See, I'm actually the other way around. I like his stand-up.
Really?
His movies just get on my nerves.
He's a little cheesy in movies.
Stand-up.
Whatever.
All
I'm
right.
a terrible movie critic, though.
Victor, I do hate my life. I'm on quarantine right now, bud.
Let's get through the listener questions. I have a dynasty question once we've gotten through the listener questions.
Sam, hit us.
Okay. So, Dynasty League that I already brought up earlier. Someone wants to trade with me, and they've been asking for Robert Woods for a multitude of times. A bunch of different offers. A bunch of them I just turned down. Now we're getting close to what I'm looking for. So this was given draft picks because I didn't like the receiver they were giving me. Anyways, I would receive David Johnson, John Ross, a 3rd round rookie pick for this year. He would get Robert Woods, Naheem Himes, and a 4th rounder for the following year.
No.
No?
Most certainly not.
No?
Yeah, unanimous. No.
Wow. Now what is that? Because to me, I like the pick. Let me explain why I'm entertaining the thought.
Okay.
I like the idea of Ross in a multitude of reasons. One, we know he's going to get Burrows under center. That's super exciting. I love his speed. I feel like he is a really great weapon. To me, Robert Woods is towards the twilight of his career. He was great this past year. Okay, just let me finish. I've had Robert Woods in another dynasty league for a long time.
Bob Woods is so pissed at you right now. You don't want to be on his bad list.
Shut up. I don't want him to hear this. Okay, so I'm just thinking about if we're looking at a graph and I'm bad at math, he might be getting towards the back half of his potential. So in a dynasty league that has just started, to me, does it make more sense to have someone like John Ross as my young rookie receiver? I've got a lot of other receivers. This is like my 4th tier receiver. So think of it that way too. I've got a lot of other people to play with.
I don't let him go, Sam.
This is not a never let go moment, Bucks. Like, just give it a second. Give it a second.
It's not frozen. I agree with you.
I worry about the potential for Hines. I just don't know that he has that explosion amount based on their situation there in Indiana. I mean, convince me otherwise, but this is my thinking. And I think a lot of our listeners are going to be thinking of different types of trade talks and dynasty things, and they're going to be going through these different types of talks. So
here's the thing. Hines has a role.
He has a role, yes. So that's why I said I needed a pick this year in order to make this trade.
Well, Tate, you don't think Hines has a role?
No, for now. I mean, is Hines someone that's certainly expendable? I mean, do I think that he can even lose his job to someone? Potentially, his role. I'm not a huge Hines guy. I mean, he's essentially Giovanni Bernard, a poor man's Giovanni Bernard.
Yep.
See, okay, and that's where I'm thinking too. I feel like he's someone who can lose out on their job, which is why I don't mind necessarily losing someone like him. Again, he is my 4th to 5th string running back. He's really far back on my roster. I got a lot of great players. So I'm just thinking back half of my draft, how can I shore up this team for the future? And I think that David Johnson, it could be a fun big play for this year, maybe the following year too. But I'm really just liking that John Ross pick. And I feel like trying to balance it out with, the weight of David Johnson for Robert Woods, I feel like makes it a little bit more even.
I like Bob Woods.
I know. I love him too. I would love to cuddle with him.
He's younger than you think too.
Yeah, I mean, I hope David Johnson has a resurgence here. It would be nice because I like David Johnson player, but I'm just not. I mean, it's okay. It's not a terrible trade. It's just not sexy.
No,
I mean, if you're high on John Ross, though, is the thing. If you're high on John Ross,
for potential going forward in a dynasty league, when you think about how young he is and the fact that he's about to get a rookie quarterback that just did what he did at the college level. Yes, NFL is different, but has so much potential going forward. That's kind of where I'm thinking my money's at.
Woods has still got 4 good years in him. He really does. He's 27.
I mean, John Ross. I think John Ross is 25, if I'm not mistaken. So
he is 25.
You're talking about a 2-year age difference. Now, granted, I do think the one thing that I side with you on is that first off, John Ross got off to a great start last season.
He did. So that's at least
people
proven.
forget that.
Yeah.
That John Ross looked
24. Tate, 24.
Ooh.
But when
I've gone out with a 24-year-old, they're nice.
Now my analysis is just taking a different turn.
Very well.
So, I'm just saying that I do think that John Ross, with the uncertainty of AJ Green, because I think AJ Green's going to hold out he got slapped with the franchise tag. I think they're going to have a hard time working out a long-term deal. They don't seem to want to pay AJ Green for reasons unknown to me. But you bring in Joe Burrow, who's a gunslinger, and I definitely think that he's going to maximize John Ross's potential because I'm a believer in Burrow. So if you're that high on John Ross, I mean, do you like John Ross more than you like Robert Woods in a vacuum right now?
In a vacuum right now for potential going forward, I do like John Ross just a little bit better just because the quarterback play. I'm so excited about the potential that Burrows has. And I'm just not excited about Jared Goff right now. I was beginning of last year.
That's your answer then, Sam. Great. It's your guy. Go get him.
If your prognostication is,
that's a big word, and I can't spell it.
I already said it once. Tate stole it.
If your crystal ball is telling you that John Ross is going to have a brighter future than Robert Woods, then make the deal. If you can get John Ross plus, then you feel like you're making out like a bandit and pull the trigger. But I think that you're overlooking Bob Woods a little bit here. His role is so secure in a PPR format that
on any team, Tate.
He's a solid team. He's a solid veteran.
He can get moved.
I'm just worried at this point that he's had his biggest year.
No, I
disagree
there. I disagree there. I love Bob Woods. I will go to the grave saying Bob Woods is the man.
Wait, do you agree with me, Ryan?
Yes, I don't think he has a bigger season than he's had.
If you think that he's a depreciating value or
yes, I don't think that.
Then
I think he's a movable chip. Yeah.
Then sell high on him. Get John Ross plus and wipe your hands clean of it.
I mean, in my other dynasty league, he's a piece that I've had forever, and I will not let go of him in that league. But in this new league where I'm starting afresh, if I'm gonna hitch my wagon to someone and be like, "You gonna be my guy," I would like it to make it John Ross.
Okay,
we like talking wagon hitching here. with
I
the
love
Sign us
wagon
off,
hitching.
Tater.
Oh, okay. So thanks for joining us on this episode of Fantasy Focus Live. I'm kind of just jumping here trying to go off the top of the dome, but if this is your first time coming across our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe as well as hitting the like button. We really do appreciate any and all the support. Of course, we're going to be having a lot of fantasy football content coming at you, whether it's on YouTube or, of course, check us out on all the social media outlets, Instagram, Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, check out our podcasts, however you digest them, namely on iHeartRadio as of recently. Every episode is brought to you by the Original Hooters. And until next time, later, says the Tater.
Peace, love, ham steak.
Button your buttons on your suits.
See you guys.